G'day viewers, Oren here. In this quick video, I'll show you how to install Hyper-V on Windows Server 2025. First thing I need to cover is the misconception that Hyper-V is going away or is no longer supported by Microsoft. Hyper-V is built into Windows 11 and Windows Server and Azure, and it's not going anywhere. Now, why people think that it's going away is because there used to be a separate product called Hyper-V Server that was just Windows Server stripped down with everything else taken out but the virtualization hosting software. That Hyper-V Server, the separate product, went away. But Hyper-V as a role is still available in all versions of Windows Server and the professional and enterprise editions of Windows 11, and you can move virtual machines from Windows Client to Windows Server to Azure and back. With that out of the way, let's install Hyper-V on Windows Server 2025. We start with Server Manager, select Manage, add roles and features, choose role-based installation, select the local server, choose Hyper-V, install all the management tools, select the virtual switch. Now, here I'm saying that I want to use this server's Ethernet adapter as the basis for the virtual switch. This will essentially make it a bridge switch with the VMs connecting to this switch being able to use the IP addresses on the subnet that this network adapter connects to. As this is a basic setup video, I'm not going to configure this Windows Server instance to support live migrations. A live migration is when a virtual machine moves from one Windows Server Hyper-V host to another in a cluster without downtime or interruption. On the default stores page, I'm selecting a separate volume I formatted with the ReFS file system to host the virtual machine disk and config files. ReFS is an excellent choice for virtual machine files. It's always a good idea to keep the location where you store your virtual machine files separate from the system volume, as that way, if you have dynamic disks enabled, they don't expand and cause problems with the operating system if they get too big. I confirm all the settings, Hyper-V installs, I restart the server and log in again. The first thing I need to deal with is the network adapter. I had a static IP address assigned, and with the new virtual network adapter, I have to go and configure the new adapter with a new fixed IP address. I open up the Hyper-V Manager console. This console hasn't changed much in the last decade, and there is some stuff that you can do from Windows Admin Center, but honestly, I prefer this console. I select the Windows Server instance and choose Hyper-V settings. In this dialog, I can see or change the location I set for the virtual hard disks and virtual machines. I can allow NUMA spanning. This is relevant when the host computer has NUMA nodes. I can choose to enable live migrations, which I'll talk about in a future video. I'm going to leave the storage migration settings at their default, but turned on Enhanced Session Mode. Enhanced Session Modes allows you to have a connection to the VM that's similar to using Remote Desktop, allowing sound redirection and to cut and paste from the host OS or even drag and drop files in and out of the virtual machine. Next, I'll view the Virtual Switch Manager. Each virtual switch is just a virtual network adapter. Either they bridge with the host computer's adapter or can exist in internal, private, or network address translation configuration. I'll cover setting up a network address translation network on Hyper-V in a later video, as it's one of those things you have to do via PowerShell. Finally, let's go through the basics of creating a virtual machine. You just choose New and then Virtual Machine from the Actions menu. Choose a name for the VM and where you want to store it if it's different from the default. Whether or not you want to use a Generation 1 or 2 VM. Now, Generation 2 VMs are newer, and Gen 1 VMs are really only relevant for older operating systems that don't support things like UEFI boot. I assign the amount of RAM I want for startup. That's how much the VM is allocated at startup, but you can configure dynamic memory, which I'll talk about a little later, to have that decrease after the virtual machine is operational. I assign the VM to the virtual switch that I showed you before. I specify the virtual hard disk settings and also specify the location of the Windows Server 25 Evaluation Edition ISO that I downloaded from Microsoft's website. But let's look briefly at the properties of this VM. Now that it's created, I can add extra hardware like additional SCSI controllers, network adapters, or fiber channel adapters. By default, Secure Boot is turned on. I can disable that if I'm running an OS that doesn't support it. I can also enable a TPM chip if the host computer's got one. You need to do this if you're running Windows 11 VMs or you want to run Server 25 with all the security bells and whistles turned on. But you can actually install Windows Server 2025 without a TPM if you want. You can configure how many vCPUs are allocated to the VM. If you used an older version of Hyper-V, you'll know that sometimes this was set to 1, but Windows Server 2025 has saner defaults. You can also configure how CPU resources are allocated when there is contention. I can enable dynamic memory, which will mean that once the OS is booted, it's allocated or relinquishes memory as needed. Depending on how you're running, Windows Server can run with less than a gig of memory in some cases. And you're better off enabling dynamic memory, setting a sane upper limit, and letting Hyper-V and the operating system negotiate how low it can go. The last setting I want to look at is checkpoints. Production checkpoints are data consistent but don't capture application state. Standard checkpoints do. Anyway, that's a quick tutorial on how to install and configure the Hyper-V role on Windows Server 2025. If you're ever wondering where the old MCSE went, one of the things I helped work on at Microsoft in the last few years is the new Windows Server Hybrid Administrator Associate certification. It's 2 exams that focus on running Windows Server on-prem, in hybrid, and running in Azure, and includes a virtualization component. A link to the cert is in the description below. And if there's a specific topic you want me to cover, please drop a comment in the comment section.